welcome back to Cara Plans. Today I'm going to be doing my weekly check-in for May 14th through the 20th here on the channel. I do videos on budgeting, planning, getting out of debt. I've paid off over $80,000 worth of debt in less than 2 years. So I was debt-free for a good while. I did hop back into debt for a special circumstance, but I'm working my way to get back out of debt right now. So we're going to do our weekly check-in to see where we are at with that. So what I do with my weekly check-ins is I track all of my expenses on my expense tracker here in the Budget by Paycheck workbook, and I have this budget category sheet. And this is the categories that all of my spending fit into. So then I go ahead and I highlight them so it's easier to total up by color. So that's the step that we're going to do first, is highlighting by color. And our first expense that we have is Mokes for my kids' Taekwondo. And that's for $130 for the month. And then down at the bottom, I just bring that color down so that we can total it up at the bottom. And we also had a Taekwondo tournament this month, which the entry fee was $60 plus spectator tickets. So 2 kids' expenses this month. Next category is food. And we did go to Sheets for dinner one night for $30.95. And that is our only food expense this week. All the other groceries and that were paid for. And then we had some bills come out. We had my Peloton subscription, $41.34. We had my electric bill for $78 and Spotify for $10.59. Okay, and the next category we have is giving for $100. Ooh, that's a pretty color combination down at the bottom, isn't it? And we had car expenses. I did put $30 worth of gas in my tank, to drive to the end of the block. And I had a parking toll for $3.50. Gas is just out of control. I spent, not on this tracking, but since the end of the 20th, so yesterday or whatever, $76 on another tank of gas. It's just nauseating. Awful. Awful, awful, awful. And then personal, I had a nail appointment for $56.25, and I stopped at Rite Aid for a couple things for $9.83. And then I made some debt payments this week, lots of them. So I made a payment to Discover for $500, another credit card, my Rakuten card, and another Discover payment for $10.49. So those are all the expenses there. Let me put this down at the bottom. And we're going to total all of these up. So let me get my calculator out. And then the first category we are doing is kids, which is $130 plus $60. I can do that one in my head. That's a nice even number for $190. Food, there was only one. So that's $30.95. Bills, we had $41.34, $78, and $10.59. So $129.93 for bills. Give, we had $100. Car was the $30 plus the $350, so $33.50. Personal will be $56.25 plus $9.83. And that's $66.08. And then to debt, we had $500, 447.69 plus 305.67 plus 10.49. That's 2302.36. And the reason I was able to do so much towards debt is I decided to empty out some of my sinking funds that are nice to have but aren't needed right now. I really want to finish off this debt as soon as possible, and some of those sinking funds were like way overfunded for realistic. Like I never touch them. So I wanted to pay off the debt, and I will refill the sinking funds at a later date. So I did pull $14.90 from sinking funds to pay for some of this debt. So that's where that is. And then let's see where we are for the month in these categories. So what is left over? So for kids, I haven't spent anything this month, but I know I didn't plan for $190. I didn't think I planned for the tournament. So let me just double check that one. That would be the one that I wasn't quite sure. $175. So we were over by 15. And I'm going to highlight that one in red, just so I know that that one's already over. Okay. And then food. We were at $328.39 left, minus $30.95, so $297.44 left there. Bills, we were at $227.41, and I spent $129.93, so we still have $97.48 left in bills. And giving, I still had $194.83, so we have $94.83 left there. Car, I had $117.70 minus $33.50, $84.20, which if the $76 fill up is the last one for the month, fingers crossed, we'll stay on budget for car expenses. Sorry, I'm sliding off screen here. Sorry about that, guys. And then personal expenses, we had $240 left, and I spent $66.08. So we have $173.92 there, which might not be enough because I still have a pedicure and a hair color that are scheduled this month. So we'll see about that. And then debt, I had $667 left, but I actually put $2302.36 to debt. However, that would put me over $1635. I did bring that $1490 over from my sinking funds, which I'm now going to include in the budgeted amount. So now I'm only over my planned debt amount, $145.36, if I count that in to there. So at the beginning of the month, when I planned how much debt I was going to pay off, I did not factor in that I was pulling any from sinking funds, but I did decide to do that. So I increased my expected debt payoff by this amount. So I paid more to debt than I planned, $145.36 over still, but that's fine as long as the debt goes away again. And you know what? I think sometimes when you're watching YouTube or you're on Instagram or Facebook and you see these people that are budgeting and everything's always perfect and they're paying off their debt and then they're debt free and everything's great, that's not always real. And I want to be real with you guys. I am back in debt and there's a very good reason for it, and I am okay with the reason for it. It is not the same reason I was in debt the first time. The first time was because I was very careless, and I had grandiose expectations for this business that I had that failed. And so I was just spending like I had already made the money and already hit the big time. And that was my fault. And also getting a divorce and not having my ex-husband's income anymore also caused me to go into debt. this time my debt is very calculated. I know exactly why I'm using my credit cards and why I'm not able to pay them off every month. And the reasoning behind it is okay. It's not that I'm being careless and over shopping. I'm helping somebody out that could really use some help right now. So, and that's okay. My income is consistent. My job is secure. And sometimes it's okay. Like, there are some financial experts out there that are like, oh, if you ever go back into debt, you're a failure. Life happens, guys. And life's hard. Times are hard right now. So I feel like me being open and transparent with that and giving you permission to have a setback, it's okay. The difference is I now have a plan for my setback and I'm laser focused on moving past it. So just keep at it. Nobody gets everything right the first time, and life's not perfect. So I don't want you to think that I'm some perfect YouTuber, budgeter here. Things happen, guys. It's okay. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm back in debt, and then that's okay. We'll get out of debt again. It's okay. It's okay. So, anywho, there's my soapbox. Thank you guys for watching this video. I did not look at our monthly view. So, look at me. I have all of my expense tracker stickers on here already. And you can see this is when I paid off all that debt and had all those car expenses. So, yeah. And I think on this page, the color coding really helps me see where I'm spending my money and what time of the month I'm spending certain things on. So, okay. Now that's it. I'm done with the weekly check-in for this week. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're looking for these stickers, they're in my Etsy shop. If you're looking for these ones, they are in Life in Envelopes. Have a great day. Bye.